Hey, I was just noticing a few posts recently on Facebook that 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 really were getting into talking about what's right and wrong, and I realized that there was something I wanted to share, which has helped me a lot over the years in trying to sort out what to do with different ideas or different things that come up that seem to be either right or wrong. And the thing for me that is that I I was first trained as an engineer, so I've got a really strong science background, and later I became a life coach and started working with people who with different ideas that were kind of unscientific to me, and so there was really this period of time where I went through this. I really didn't know how to handle or what to do with some people's different ideas, which were seemed to be really from a scientific perspective, they seem to be really not true. And and so over the years, like this is kind of how I've kind of this is how I've come to consider the things that are right or wrong. So first, there's what I like to understand or distinguish between things that are right or wrong as in terms of facts. So so we can actually argue or we can actually debate about the facts of things. So if I for example uh, talk about this phone that I'm holding right now, I mean it's approximately, I don't know, 6 centimeters tall, or the width of it, the length of it is 6 centimeters. So um, you know two people can actually have a rational discussion about whether or not this is 6 centimeters. It's actually a measurable fact. We can use some different measurement devices to check whether or not this thing actually is 6 centimeters. So there is actually a rightness or a wrongness to somebody making a statement that this thing is. If somebody came to me and said this is not 6 centimeters, I mean, I could actually argue with them, and I could debate and actually come to an actual resolution to that agreement, to that argument. But then somebody might say, well, this is a stupid phone, and and the thing is that I could say that they're right, or I can say that they're wrong, but there's actually no way that I can ever convince or persuade them to change their perspective if they don't want to, because actually there is there are 6-7 billion people in the world, and they can all have a different opinion about this phone. And so that's where I started to come into thinking about when people make statements about things, and I look for whether it's a fact or an opinion. Um, and further, when it comes to something like an opinion or an idea or a belief, how do I then measure whether or not that idea or belief is a say like a good one or a useful one? And because what I notice is that people sometimes believe really crazy things, but somehow they get really great results, or they seem to believe these sensible things, but their life is really impacted negatively. So what I use then for a different idea as a measure is I look at what it creates in my life. So if I have an idea that that if I have an idea and then I act from that idea, I follow the consequences of that idea, then I can look at what happens in my life. So, for example, if I think that I'm not confident, I'm not good enough, and I hold that idea, what actually happens for me? Does it allow me to speak confidently? Does it allow me to do the things I want to do? Probably not. However, I might invent a different, completely crazy idea in my head, like I'm a teddy bear, and and that idea gives me a lightness and a joy that enables me to go out and speak. Um, so, you know, somebody might think, well, come on, dude, you're not a teddy bear, but it actually doesn't really matter because it's what's going on in my mind, and whether that idea enables me to act, which enables me to produce results that I want in my life. So, the main point I wanted to just share here is that whenever you just see something being shared or talked about, there's two things to check. One is whether or not this is a fact that's being proposed, and whether or not it can be validated or measured. And second, just look at whether or not it's an opinion. And and then you can weigh whether or not you want to take on that opinion or use it or just forget about it. So that's a kind of an idea that I had from how I process different Facebook posts and different ideas that get shared around. Is it a fact or is it an opinion? And then what can I do with it then?